Elden Ring has an amazing soundtrack, and I'm sure most of you are already aware of that. But if you've ever listened to the soundtrack outside of the game, you might have realised it's in a strange order. Like, why is the Regal ancestor spirit placed 11 songs before Radagon, where in-game you have to kill Radagon to get to the Regal ancestor spirit? So, because of this strange order, I wanted to see if it was possible to beat Elden Ring in order of its soundtrack. Let's start off with some of the rules for the run. Firstly, I would not be doing the entire soundtrack since it is split into two parts, with the first part being the area music and the second part being the combat music. So I decided to only do the second half of the soundtrack, since me wandering the map to get to all areas is not that interesting. For the actual songs, it's all songs from Formidable Foe 1 to the final battle. The second rule is that if the current song applies to more than one boss, such as Draconic Tree Sentinel and Loretta, both having the Erdtree Knight song, I was allowed to fight the second boss later in the run, even if I was on a different song. This rule was actually changed during the run, and you'll see why later in the video. And that's all the rules. Now let's get stuck into the run. The first song on the list is Formidable Foe 1, which plays over bosses found in tunnels and ruins, but I needed to quickly prepare to actually fight the boss. So I started with the Confessor class, which has a bit of strength and dex for melee, but also a bit of faith for flame grant me strength and something else later in the run. I then got the Dectus pieces so I could navigate as much of the map as possible, then headed to Malenia to get the Iron Ball, which would be the first weapon I would be using, and went straight to the Crystalline in Rykard Crystal Tunnel, which not only gives me the smithing bell bearing one, but also ticks off the first song on the list. Alright, next up is Formidable Foe 2, which plays over the same tunnels and ruins but just in different places across the map. But first I did a few more preparation things. So I got the strength tier since the Iron Balls scale extremely well off of strength, the Golden Veil Ash of War, Cragblade, and some smithing stones to upgrade the weapon to +7. Now, I didn't know exactly what bosses played Formidable Foe 2, I just knew it was either in tunnels or ruins. So I started by going to altars to kill Gillicar, who unfortunately played the first song, but I still got the Ritual Sword Talisman for a 10% boost to my damage. I then pretty much wandered around killing a couple bosses until I came across the Mad Pumpkinhead in Waypoint Ruins. Oh, is that it? The third song is Invader, which starts when you invade someone or someone invades you, and you get into combat with them. So I had Tyler from chat to help me out with this one, who also lives on the other side of the world from me, so the latency between the hits was, well... That was like 3 seconds behind, bro, you cannot tell me... rather large. And then whatever this was happened. So I had to attempt the invasions again, and luckily for me, I was successful this time. Next up is Old Warriors, which plays over the Leonine Misbegotten in Castle Morn, which is where that second rule was changed. I originally said that the bosses with the same song would be fought at the same time, but with no access to Niall, who has the same song over his fight, I obviously couldn't follow this rule. I also realised that this rule would also cause issues with Loretta and Gideon, so I changed the rule so if I could kill 2 bosses at once, I had to do it, but if I couldn't, it wasn't an issue. Next is Erdtree Knights, which plays over the Tree Sentinel, Draconic Tree Sentinel, and Loretta. So, I travelled to Draconic Tree Sentinel since I had to get past him and get into Leyndell. Oh, that was hard as fuck. I also tried zipping to the consecrated snowfield so I could fight Loretta in the Erdtree, but to my disappointment I could not, even after 30 minutes of attempts. And I also realised while editing this video that I didn't even kill Ghost Loretta in Kari Manor, who uses the same song. Next is Fallen Knights, which plays over the Knights Cavalries, so I just killed the Limgrave one since it had the least amount of health. It was now time to perform magic, because up next is the Immured, which plays over NPC fights. Now, there are only 3 necessary NPC fights in the game required to complete this run. Gideon, Fia's Simps, and of course me. Me as in Mimic Tier. Now at this point in the game, I don't have access to any of these 3 fights. Gideon is in the Ashen Capital, the Simps are in Deep Root Depths, and Mimic Tier is in Nokron, which I have no access to since Radagon isn't dead. But, thanks to a little trick in the game, by going to Shifa Riverbank side of Grace, then travel to the Round Table Hold, and closing the game the second the load bar hits 100%, we can perform the Nokron Wrong Warp, which teleports us right in front of Mimic Tier's boss fight. And now, because the next song is The Accursed, which plays over the Fell Twins boss fight, which is after Leyndell, and since I didn't have 2 Great Runes to get inside of Leyndell, I had to perform magic again. So, I travelled to the Leyndell portal in Weeping Peninsula, went through to Leyndell, travelled to Round Table Hold, closed the game, and bam, the Leyndell Wrong Warp. I made my way through Leyndell, up the elevator, and crap. Can't progress without killing Morgott. But luckily, there's a weapon swap glitch, which allows me to get up onto the banister, and then I can walk around to the other side, which after 50 minutes, I could of course not do. So the run pretty much ends here. Obviously, I didn't want it to end here, so to my disappointment, I just summoned Torrent to take me over. Oh yeah, I could have. A thing that you can just put on shields. Next is Grave Wardens, which I once again just killed the one in Murkwater Catacombs in Limgrave due to its low health. And now to have some fun with Death's Kindred, which plays over the Deathbirds. In case you didn't know, Deathbirds have 2 features that go hand in hand with each other. The first is that they are weak to holy damage, and the second is that they count as undead enemies. Now these go hand in hand because all the methods of damage that deal extra damage to undead enemies are also holy based, and one of these methods is the Holy Water Pots, whose recipe can be purchased from Carle at the beginning of the game, which will deal 400% extra damage to undead enemies. I then got the Golden Epitaph with its skill Last Rites, which further increases the damage against enemies, allowing me to pull numbers like this. And that is the second reason why I chose this Deathbird, Death's Poker, which will be the weapon I am using for the rest of the run. Next up is Dragon. This one is pretty self-explanatory, but I wanted to have some fun with this, so I fought at a kill with a +0 Death's Poker. Oh, do not land up there. Oh, for fuck's sake. And now that Akhil is dead, I upgraded the weapon to +5. Next is the Falling Star Beast, and I chose to fight the one in Altus mainly because I thought it dropped the +6 Somber Smithing Stone, only to realise after the fight that the Somber 6 is dropped from the Celia Crystal Tunnel Falling Star Beast. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. I haven't even got a hit off yet. Alright, he's dead. Is it Red Wolf now? Yep. I think it's time for an Erdtree avatar. Now, I chose this specific Erdtree avatar because it drops the Magic Shroud and Crack tier, which buffs the Death Poker's skill by 20%, and it also helps me out on the next 2 fights, the Godskin Apostles. It's now time to perform magic for the last time, so I made my way to the 4 Belfries, took the portal to Crumbling Farum Azula, teleported a round table, closed the game, and voila, Farum Azula Wrong Warp. I upgraded my weapon to +9, got some sleep pots, and then fought the Godskins. But I'm not done yet, because there is another necessary Godskin to kill, the Volcano Mana Godskin Noble, which I have to kill to get to Rykard. Next up is Black Knives, which I once again kill the Black Knife Assassin in Limgrave because of its low health. And now we have the 3 rip-off bosses, starting with Margit the Fell Omen. The second is Omen Illusion, which plays over Sewer Mogg's fight, which we can easily get to thanks to the wrong warp I performed earlier. And lastly is Lord's Apparition, which plays over Godfrey's fight. And finally, I can move on to the first Remembrance boss, the Regal Ancestor Spirit, which, once again, thanks to the wrong warp I performed earlier, was a breeze to get to. Alright, that's the day. Le Dead Pastel. Brother, what are you doing? Easy. Ow! Piss off, you little shitbag. Fuck the goats, man. Lanciax is dead. Fortin Sachs. Now, the next song is the Song of Lament, and this isn't actually a combat song, but rather a song sung by the chanting winged names. So I decided to skip this song and move straight onto Morgoth.
Nos destinatem matribus nunc fiuntur.
Jellyfish shield. And now is Bloody Fingers, and I had absolutely no clue where this song played, but thanks to my chat, they worked out the song is played in Eskar's fight in the Leyndell catacombs. Oh. Who's next? Ooh, Mohg. We've got Mohg next, let's go. Alright, who's next? Godrick. You know what? That works too. Not what I wanted to do, but that's fine. And now if we make our way to fucking Malenia. Bugging. Was she still frosted? That doesn't hit her? The fuck? Oh, no, it hits her. Is it Radagon next? Malenia, Song of Honor. So, we need to figure out where the Oh yeah. That's how you fight Radagon properly. The next and final strange song on this list is Recusants, which after a lot of looking around and searching stuff up, we figured out it plays when you invade another player's world using specifically the Recusant finger. Now, after 20 minutes, I only got 3 invasions, and all of them had 3 people, and they went nowhere. So I just moved straight onto Rykard. And staggered. The Nile is kicking your ass here, that's normally what he does. Man, do I disrespect Moon Grump? Hold on. Alright, who's next? Bye, Giante. Bro. I probably just do that. Alright, what's next? Maliketh. Dragonlord, Black and do 6. Alright, who's next? We have to do fucking Gideon first, but... Wait, what? Oh, we've killed Malenia. It was alright. This should make quick work of Radagon, shouldn't it? Surely. I have no FP, but poke. Okay, never mind. It didn't work as well as I wanted it to. The weapon's alright, honestly. Alright, well that's actually everything. This run was interesting. You can't really do it, it seems like. If you know zipping, you can probably do it better. Thank you all so much for watching. This video was actually styled differently compared to my other challenge runs, so let me know in the comments if you like the more commentary heavy style of this video. And if you did enjoy the video, leave a like and subscribe since it helps me out a bunch. Anyways, I'll see you all later.